Today, I'm going to share with you 3 simple ways to trust yourself again, because the more you trust yourself, the more confident, powerful, and aligned you become in everything that you do. Because if you're constantly overthinking, doubting yourself, or even asking everybody else around you what they think that you should do, you're simply giving away your power. You're devaluing everything about yourself. So in this video, I'm going to share the 3 things that helped me rebuild my self-trust and completely change my life for the better. From leaving a relationship that wasn't right for me, from changing my career, starting my own successful business, and also creating the life that I finally feel excited to wake up to every day now. And also just to make sure that you stay to the end, because the third point is the gold, is the real gold nugget in how you change your identity, your outcome, your whole life for the reasons that you're here today. So I'm Jo, a wealth and identity mentor for ambitious women and female founders. I help women rewire the subconscious beliefs, the identity and patterns that keep them playing small, if that's invisibility in success. So make sure you hit the subscribe, because over the next few days and videos, this week, I'm going to be sharing some really powerful insights on how to uplevel your identity, your self-worth, your visibility, and what it really takes to rise up into your next new brilliant level. So let's dive in. The first way to start trusting yourself again is to begin to start listening to yourself. And this is what I've come to realize. Self-trust isn't built through one massive life-changing decision. Far from it. It's built through the little everyday moments that we have. It's built when that quiet voice says, actually, I don't want to do that today. You know, the one inside. And instead of overriding it and ignoring, you listen. Maybe that means you don't go and visit that family member or friend today. Maybe it means you don't spend the day entertaining everybody else because that's what you're just used to do or people expect it. Maybe it means you take some time out for you today, to be alone, out doing what you want. Maybe it means you go for that walk, you sit with a book, you go for that long bath, or you give yourself something that you've been craving. And whatever it is, it's listening to what you need instead of automatically, because we're brilliant at this, putting everybody else first. Because every time you ignore your own inner voice, you're teaching yourself that everybody else's needs matter more than your own. We all know that one. And every time you listen to that, you're building trust. You're showing yourself that your feelings matter, that your needs matter, and that what you want matters too. And the beautiful thing is, once you've listened once, it actually becomes easier to listen time and time again, and the next time. And they will constantly be coming up for you until you start realizing that you had all the answers inside of you all the time. The challenge wasn't hearing them, really. It was actually trusting and listening to them for yourself. And I think so many women now have got into the habit of just overriding themselves, the people pleasing, the saying yes, when inside they're screaming no, and giving up all their time and effort and energy to everybody else whilst leaving themselves with whatever is left over, which is often not enough. But that's not how self-trust is built. Self-trust is built when you stop abandoning yourself and you start honouring what you know is actually right for you, and one tiny step at a time. So the second step is to start trusting yourself again, is to start taking action on the things that you know that are right for you, the things that bring you more joy, that lighten you up, the things that makes you feel alive, not drained and exhausted. And it doesn't have to be huge life-changing decisions, does it? I think sometimes we believe self-trust is built through these massive, bold leaps, but often it's built through the smallest steps. And that's what I've learnt. For me, it started with bringing more things into my life that I genuinely enjoyed. Going to feed the ducks, going for walks in nature, spending time walking on the beach, sitting, just watching, observing, and being in nature, being around people that actually inspired me, that lit me up, and taking myself to new places, environments, traveling, expanding my world and my vision. And then I started learning. That was the biggest one. Now, school never really excited me. Yeah. None of the education I had growing up ever lit me up. In actual fact, made me feel ugh. But when I discovered personal development, hypnotherapy, and the subconscious mind, something switched, changed. For the first time in my life, I was learning things that I couldn't get enough of. I was obsessed. I was fascinated. I wanted to know more. Researched. I wanted to understand why we think the way we do, why we behave the way we do, and how we can change it, and why so many people still feel stuck, as I did for most of my life. And even now, I still love learning about it. I don't think I'll ever stop. It's just part of me now. And the more I learn, the more I expand and the more I help. So it's for the better. And what I've realised, especially now looking back, is that every one of those little decisions was actually helping me build self-trust in myself. Because every time I chose something that brought me joy or fulfillment or excitement, I was listening to myself, to my own needs. I was honouring myself. I was showing up and I was showing myself what I needed mattered. And I proved it by doing it. And that's how self-trust starts to grow. It doesn't have to start with leaving a relationship or leaving a career or starting a business. It can start with something as small as simple as just doing more of what lights you up. Because every step you take towards yourself creates another step, another opportunity, and another, and it just keeps building until one day you realise that you're no longer living the life everybody else expected of you. You're creating and living a life that feels true and honoured to you. You're building evidence in your mind that you can make the right decisions and choices for yourself simply by listening to that inner voice, knowing it just gets stronger and stronger and louder, and taking actions on it. So the third and the final step to start trusting yourself again is to stop needing certainty before you take the action. And this is the one that brings everything together. Because first, you've listened to that inner knowing. Then you've started taking the small action steps on the things that feel right just for you. And maybe, just maybe, you've given yourself an hour to read a book, have a bath, instead of looking after everybody else's needs because that's what you believed you were here to do. Maybe you've gone for a lovely long walk with a friend, or maybe you've gone to a sound bath. Maybe you've done a meditation. Maybe you've gone shopping. Maybe you've connected to your inner knowing on a deeper level. Maybe you've started saying no when you mean no. And maybe you've started bringing more joy into your life. Because as we know, when you do that, something starts to shift inside. You begin trusting yourself more. And we don't instantly see that as trust, but you stop looking outside yourself for all the answers. You stop needing everyone else's approval and validation before you make a decision, which is actually mentally exhausting if you think about it. And you begin to realise that even if something doesn't work out the way you imagined or expected, but you'll be okay. You're not reactive no more because you've learnt something really valuable, that you can adjust, that you can take a different path. This is what I've learnt time and time again. And you will find another way. And that's the brilliance of discovering who you are. The self-trust isn't about knowing everything will work out. That isn't life. Life is up and down. It's knowing that you'll be okay even if it doesn't, that you don't react like you used to, that you can observe. It's knowing that you can handle what's in front of you instead of going into the meltdown that you used to. It's knowing that fear isn't always a stop sign. Sometimes fear is simply showing you where your next level is. And as you begin trusting yourself more and feeling that, something else starts to happen. You become far less influenced by what everybody else thinks, because you start realizing that most people are unconsciously, not purposely, giving you advice based on their own fears, their own limitations, and what feels safe to them might not be the best for you. Now, one of the biggest lessons I've learned is if you want different results, you have to spend time around people, environments that have already created them, that are already living it. The people who have achieved the goals, the dreams that you're working towards, the people who have already walked the path, talked the path. Because those people, they don't tell you why you can't do it. They're going to show you how you can. And people that have risen very rarely will try to stand on you. They're going to try to pull you up, and they're going to remind you what's possible for you. And this is where self-trust becomes something much bigger, because it starts with tiny decisions of listening to you, of choosing yourself. But eventually it changes your identity. You stop being the woman who constantly doubts herself, is asking everybody else, tiptoeing around everyone. You stop waiting for permission. You stop chasing everything, and I mean this, everything outside of yourself. And instead you become the woman who trusts herself, who listens, who acts on what she believes is right for her, who backs herself. I invest in myself. I know, the woman who knows she's capable. And from that actual place, that's where everything changes. Because you're no longer trying to become the woman, which is often you heard, that has the life that you want. You're becoming her. And when that happens, you automatically start attracting the opportunities, the people and experiences that match who you're becoming. That is gold. That is where the real shift happens. So if this resonates with you, and you're getting fed up and tired of the self-doubt and untrusting yourself because you can't make decisions without asking everybody else, and you're ready now to become the woman you know you're capable of being, because deep down you know it, we'd love to support you, because you don't have to do this alone. In fact, this is something I've learnt the hard way, and it's delayed my progress so many times. For years I tried to do everything myself. I thought being strong meant figuring it out on my own, taking on every responsibility. But what I've come to realise is that we grow so much faster when we're supported. We were never meant to struggle alone. We might have been shown it growing up, but it was an old limiting belief. And that's exactly why I've created this program, Reconnect Her Fire, is my signature coaching and mentoring program for women ready to rise, to expand into their greatness, to increase the wealth, become more visible with success. And you're going to find all the details in my description below. You can contact me on here through my social media. And remember this: the life you want and you crave and desire isn't found inside your comfort zone, I'm afraid. It's found when you start to trust yourself a little more, when you take a little leap before you have all the answers or certainty. When you follow the things you've been drawn towards, whatever it is, because every time you do, you're becoming the woman you were meant to be. So until next time, take care and thank you for being here and growing.